Well guys, I'm about to go do something some people might consider pretty stupid. And in a way, I kind of lost a bet, but at the same time, it was kind of a dare of I dare you to do something and I'll do something in return. So long story short, we're going up north right now to my buddy Devan's, who happens to be a professional beekeeper. And back in 2018, after a Christmas party, we decided that if he was to put on this large brass diving helmet that I own, I would then allow him to give me a bee beard. And if you've never seen what a bee beard is, it's where you literally cover your face in bees. And Devan works with bees every day, so he's pretty comfortable with bees. I don't really think I've had much close exposure to a bee in a very long time, so we'll see how this goes. But I'm surprisingly not super nervous for it, which is kind of concerning, but at the same time, I think it's gonna be pretty exciting. Devan's a really cool dude, and he really knows a lot about bees. By my understanding too, he primarily sells queens, so he knows a lot about yeah, the biology of bees and how they interact with each other and other species and how they interact with their environment as well. So we'll get some more information from him once we get up there. Basically, he's really picked out the beehive we're going to do this with. In theory, it's going to be with a bunch of young, happy bees. We've actually been planning this for about 2 years because it had to be this week in June because, in his words, the bees are young and happy. So yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. So buckle up, guys. This is going to be a hell of a video. And the only reason it's kind of related to diving is because of that dive helmet back in 2018 at a party. So yeah, follow along. Well, here we are, guys, about 3 hours later. It's 10:53. Devan told me his driveway is very long and spooky at night, and I can agree with that statement. All right, guys, well, here we are. Today is the day. So we're up here in Colborne, Ontario. This is my buddy Devan Rawn from Devan Rawn on YouTube, or you can find him at Devan Beekeeping on both Instagram and TikTok as well. And we're here to do a bee beard. Yeah. So you've done one of these before, right?
I've done just one on myself, and I've been around a couple other people when we have to handle the bees and make it all happen too.
Mm-hmm. So it should be pretty interesting. At the end of the day, we've done a lot of planning and pre-planning and stuff for this. The bees are already excited to get on my face. But Devan, can you just talk a little bit about how we prepped this? Like, why is this doable or possible in a sense? So
the main thing is that I know the colony, the particular one colony that we're using. I know it really well. I know all my bees really well. So if you're unfamiliar with bees, or you are not super comfortable in your own bees, then avoid it. Mm-hmm. But that's the main thing, is that I know the hives really well and how they're going to act. I've done a couple other preps to this particular hive beforehand, basically by moving its position within the same sort of general location here. We've taken a lot of the older bees out of that hive. Mm-hmm. They've sort of drifted into another one, and older bees are more likely to sting people. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of the main tip that I've done here. And I mentioned it kind of in the intro as well. We've been planning this for a long time, and it had always been we needed to do it kind of middle of June because, in your words, the bees are young and happy. Yeah. And that's because it's kind of really early in the season, and as the new bees are starting to grow up in a sense, right? They're a bit bigger, so should be pretty interesting. It's going to be cool. The way that this works as well, where you have to catch the queen, and we're going to put her in a cage, and basically we attach the queen in a cage to the bottom of my chin. We're going to tie her to my ears in a sense, so that way it stays in position. And then you're going to smoke the bees? Well, right? Yeah, how's that work with the smoker? Use a bit of smoke gently on the hive just to sort of keep them calm, but the main thing from there is we'll take frames of bees out of the hive, shake them, and then I'll sort of gently bring them over to Chris and let them climb up to where that queen is, and then hopefully they form the nice shape of a beard anyway. And why did they stick to me with the queen there? Like, what's the They're just attracted to the scent, basically the pheromones of the queen. When you take them away from the hive and they don't have any of that honey and pollen and wax to sort of familiarize themselves with, they recognize the scent of that queen, and that's where they're going to want to cluster up.
Cool. Yeah, and we're taking a couple safety precautions and stuff with this as well. I don't have any reason to believe that I'm allergic to bee stings, and I was approved to do this by my allergist, but we've got some EpiPens on standby as well. Devin, again, is really experienced in beekeeping in general, and we're both trained emergency first responders and stuff as well, so we should be okay. Definitely not something to do at home if you're just a hobbyist beekeeper, but if you've got a professional beekeeper on hand and somebody who knows what they're doing, then yeah, kind of a cool party trick.
There's a little bit of risk of a sting. Like, you never know, you know, if the bees get crawling somewhere and you end up pinching one accidentally, but I'll make sure to get there quick. If Chris tells me, oh, I got a sting on, you know, the side of my neck or something, I can get there fast, gently take that stinger out, and hopefully things run smoothly.
See how it goes. I'm wearing my Fourth Element J2 base layer because it fits really snug around the neck. We wanted to really avoid the chances of bees kind of getting into my shirt and stuff. Did we end up bringing any sort of paper or anything? We were going to talk about plugging my ears a little bit as well, possibly maybe plugging my nose, and that can also stop bees from potentially kind of wiggling their way up there. But yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. All right, guys, so before we go to do the bee beard, I'm actually gonna get Devin to talk you guys through how a commercial beehive works. So let's pass it over to him. Okay.
Hey everyone, so this is the hive that we're going to be working with, and I can just sort of go through the components of it as we get into it. So really basically all my hives have like an outer lid like this, but then you'll see we're not right into the hive yet. So we call this the inner cover of the colony, and as I crack this off, which is always sealed down by the bees, then we get into the beehive. So the way I run all my hives is these upper boxes. In this case, there's 2 top boxes, and they're purely honey in them. So the bees are already making honey here. It's the middle of June, and I can just show you what that looks like here quickly. So this is a typical frame where the bees are making honey. These are all worker bees on here. This is new honey in these uncapped cells, and when that honey is ripe and ready to go, they put this wax covering right over top of it. So this is pure beeswax. Okay, I'm gonna dig down into the bottom of this hive now. So like I said, there's 2 honey boxes on here, and so I usually just gently set them aside on the upturned lid. Use a little bit of smoke in between just to sort of keep the bees calm. This box was put on more recently, so it's much lighter, not a lot of honey in there yet, but hopefully that changes. And then at this point, I've got this metal piece here that is called the queen excluder. And so this is the way I run all my hives. Not everybody does, but it's quite common to use a queen excluder to keep our queen contained in the brood chamber, which can be 1 box or 2 boxes. It's really up to you. But the queen stays down here. This is where new bees are raised, you know, eggs, larvae, pupa, etc. And so that keeps all of that stuff happening away from our honey. So when it's harvest time, I can just quickly take boxes of honey away to be extracted, and those 2 things aren't mixed. Also for pest and disease issues, typically the parasites and things that we have affecting our bees are affecting where the brood is raised. So using a queen excluder allows for, you know, sort of a more targeted approach to pest and disease management too. So the main goal here is we're looking for the queen. So I'm going to start digging through this and find my queen.
Cool.
Hopefully nothing goes wrong at this point, as in
we don't find the queen.
Like the last time I dug into this hive and made sure that there was a queen was was on Saturday. Okay.
Well, in theory she should be here.
This is all brood, as we call it. Like under those cappings that's like pupa of young bees being raised. You can see them, they're like white pupa in there. So those are young bees about to be born. louder.
Yeah. Where am I looking? Oh, right there, I see her.
This is our queen with the green dot. So that's me picking up the queen. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna start with a couple shakes of bees and just get this started gently. You may notice I'm not wearing a veil either. That's sort of out of solidarity with Chris, just to show him that we don't have to be afraid of these bees. You can do this all with no veil if you know your bees well enough. So I'm gonna shake them into this tub gently. Anything that misses the tub, they'll just crawl back into their hive. Tub's kind of small, so maybe a vertical shake here.
That's a sound.
So not a lot of bees flew up in the air. That's a good sign. Nothing's bouncing off my face. A good sign. I might get us started with 2 frames. Okay. And I'll stick those back in, let them bees crawl back on the frames. Okay, so I gave Chris this bit of newspaper, and he's just gonna sort of hold it up near that queen under his chin. And I'm actually just gonna dump these bees on the newspaper and let them crawl towards his face rather than dumping the bees right on his face. Yeah, sort of tilt it.
Like that?
Yeah, I wish I was taller. Here, get that tighter.
Yeah, let me deal with this one, yeah. Okay.
This might be easier if you were on a chair or
Sitting.
I'm gonna give you something to sit on.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about those ones around your eye. They're not.
I'm not actually nervous or afraid of this at all. They feel fine. Thanks.
What do you think?
If you think it's best to dump them on my face, dump them on my face.
Okay, the bees are just sort of hanging out on this newspaper. They're not, like, he's got a decent cluster around the cage and up one side of his cheek, but we really want more on his face. So I may actually just take this bunch on the newspaper and get Chris to sort of lean back a little bit and get them right on his face. So, ready?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so I dumped a bunch at his top of his chest here, and hopefully they're gonna crawl up towards his chin. I can also use, I've got just some sort of cardboard here that's fairly rigid, and we can use that to coax them upward too. See, they're just crawling around his eye there, but they're not in any danger of stinging. I can still move those away for you. Okay, so that's actually looking quite good already. I estimate right there, that's about 500 bees on Chris right now. We're gonna aim for a few thousand.
Cool.
Okay, just relax. Okay, it's going good now. Yeah, that's actually looking pretty good. They're just not up the one side, but okay, so I've got the tub, some more bees, and I'm gonna gently get them on more on this side. The bee wrangler's job is to keep the bee beard guy happy and comfortable. So
I'm pretty comfortable. Yeah. I'll admit I'm really not, I feel comfortable. It's a light tickle. If anything, the hardest part is the shiver in the ear when they buzz right at the ear. But other than that, actually, I'm more comfortable than I expected.
It does sort of look like an old guy's beard that's like down his... Okay, yeah, this is just a small amount of bees at a time here, and we'll just try and fill it up a bit on his cheeks. Cool. Actually, that's looking good. They're crawling. See, this is what I wanted. They're crawling right up to here on his cheek now, and I think it's looking pretty good.
Beauty.
Oh, now they just sort of went down. I will say, a bee beard always turns out different. You can't exactly manipulate the bees 100%, so some of it's just sort of luck of the draw about how they go. I've seen bee beards come right up on top of people's heads. You know, I've also seen some that refuse to go on the face at all and stay down on someone's chest. So I think we're doing pretty well here, actually. I'm just gonna leave these ones here. They're sitting really nicely and calm, so I'm not gonna try and push them around too much. I don't know. I guess this side I'll get one more frame of shakes and try and fill out this side here too.
Yeah, and I think that's good.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, if you want to tilt that way. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get stung?
No. No, she's good. How's that?
Yeah, I think that's good. There we go. I am now officially wearing a bee beard of how many bees?
I think it's probably it's probably 3,000 bees. 2,500 bees for sure, yeah.
Pretty crazy. Cool. How do you want to do this?
So yeah, we're gonna get these bees off Chris now. I'm gonna use that card for the most part and back into the tub and try and scrape a bunch off gently, get them off his face and sensitive areas first, and then or even right away we'll get the queen cage off, and that'll take a lot of bees with it. All right?
Yep. Just one like went right into my ear and was like really trying to fly as deep as he could. Awesome. Well, there we go, guys. That was a complete success. Thanks to Devan here, I didn't get stung once. Devan got stung, though.
I did on the leg.
So nothing too crazy, but that was unbelievable. Honestly, wasn't as scary as I kind of expected it to be. It was a feeling, that's for sure. Having a, would you say there was about 2,500 to 3,000 bees? So having that many bees kind of walking around your face and that was definitely pretty interesting. We had stuffed my ears with some paper, and I would probably say the hardest part of that whole thing was there was one bee that was just really trying to fly into my ear, and it was just buzzing and tickling my ear the whole time, but that was honestly the hardest part. Other than that, I felt pretty comfortable. The whole experience was about 20 minutes, you'd say, 20 minutes to a half hour. We had some issues at first. We were trying to use the paper, and the bees weren't really sticking, so we decided to just straight up dumping them on my face, because I was pretty comfortable with it. It didn't stress me out too much. I just kind of made sure I kept my arms out wide, and I could feel some of them tumble a bit, but for the most part, they all seemed to stick, and it worked out really well.
If anyone's considering something like this, don't do this unless, you know, you're an experienced beekeeper like I am. I know Chris doesn't have the experience, but I was here to make sure that, you know, nothing went wrong. Know your bees really well. We're in southern Ontario, no Africanized bees. I had a few little tips and tricks to get the hive prepared beforehand, but it's definitely not for everyone to just do on a whim. We definitely knew what we were doing here.
Yeah, I want to give a huge shout out to Devan here for helping me safely do that. And again, yeah, you can check him out on YouTube. He's got a beekeeping channel called Devan Rawn on YouTube. And then again, he's also on TikTok and Instagram under Devan Beekeeper. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.